Okay, this is School Bus Talk Live. I've got a few things to do, and then I'll come back and we'll get going with this live YouTube Live. All right, we got oil pressure. We got oil pressure. Headlights on. Okay, so this is Paul at School Bus Talk, and I'm warming up the bus. This is the last route before Christmas holiday, so join me as I'm going to do a little check on the bus, and we'll have a little chat about school bus driving and ending the 2024 calendar year, getting ready for the big Christmas break. So I'll be back. I'm just going to be pre-tripping my bus, and I'm going to go out and check lights now. I'll be back. All right, so I can hope everybody can hear me. This is School Bus Talk. I'm Paul. Just finished my external check of the bus. We're going to do, I don't know if anybody's following me right now or not. Let me take a closer look here. Is there anybody on board? Hey, so yeah, if you got any questions, please ask them. It's Friday morning, December 20th. This is the last day before Christmas vacation. I've just finished my outside check of the bus. And so why don't you guys join me? I'll walk to the back of the bus and make sure everything is in order back here. Making sure there's no debris on the floor. Checking the emergency exits. Today is really just going to be a simple morning run, not even a full route, because in our district, this last day for Christmas vacation, the junior high kids and the high school kids don't go to school. So it's just the elementary school kids. So I really only have about 2 or 3 stops, and then I got 3 schools to go to. So it should be a really easy day. But I thought maybe you'll be interested in doing a YouTube live and checking out the school bus on the last day. So I'm going to go through now the standard brake check routine, filling out paperwork, because part of being a school bus driver is a ton of paperwork. Excuse me, I got to blow my nose a little bit. Down. So I got the headlights on, blinkers off. I'm going to turn the 280 radio on, so we might hear a little traffic on that.
Can we please check on Rodrigo?
Yeah, we got a little traffic. Little traffic coming in on the 2-way radio. Should be quiet. It was a wet night last night. Lots of fog here. Heavy Thule fog and mist. So everything is really wet out there. It's not raining, just really wet. All right, so get ready for start doing paperwork. I usually don't turn the heat on the bus on until I finish my brake check, just because the bus is on and off so much. I don't really just let the engine come up, get some temperature up first. So everybody's really excited, this Christmas vacation. Kind of a lot of people think about it as halfway through the school year. Actually, it's not quite halfway through the school year. We have 182 days of school here, and today there'd be 99 days of school left. So yeah, not quite half the school year is over when you get to Christmas vacation. It's almost there, but not quite. But we do need a break about this time of year. Everybody's tired and the days are really short. Driving a school bus is you got to get up really early in the morning. I'm in the Pacific time zone, and it's 6:18 in the morning right now, so it's early. All right, so let's start do our standard brake check. First thing you do is you start pumping down the brakes. This is called your air governor cut in, cut out. If I'm being watched by school bus drivers, it'll be just a review. So you pump down the brakes, the air brake system, and then you bring the bus up to a high idle. And it should cut in at about 90 psi. And you're listening for a hiss of the air brake governor, maximum air brake pressure. You're about 120. This bus does really good and never really has a problem with the air brakes. It does have a squeaky brake. It's got front disc brakes and drums in the back. Probably didn't hear that over the YouTube live, but there was a hiss from the air brake tanks being full. Now we do what's called our static test, where you shut the bus down, and you put the key back in auxiliary. You watch the air brake gauges come back up to 120, and then you check your watch. We're going to sit here for about 1 minute and watch those gauges. They really shouldn't move at all because the gauges aren't super sensitive. So any movement is concerning. So it's start filling out paperwork. You got a lot of paperwork going on your school bus driver. It's Friday. Just a little comment. I use these 4-color Bic pens. These been around for years, but they got 4 different colors, and they really are the best for filling out paperwork, in my personal opinion. Because you got red and green. That's Christmas colors, huh? And blue and black, and so you can make notes and draw attention to important details and marks. And this kind of is the mundane part of the job. There's a lot, a lot of paperwork. Fortunately, I'm pretty good at paperwork. There's an old saying that paperwork is the mother's milk of bureaucracy, and I really think that's true. You got paperwork. Unless the paperwork's done, the job wasn't done. Okay, so that's 1 minute, and everything looks good. So the next one is called the applied air brakes test. I put my foot on the brake, the service brake, put the key back in the auxiliary position, listen for the pop of the anti-lock brakes, and there they are. I hear the popping. That means the anti-lock brake system was working. And I apply the parking brake. Some people call it the spring brake. That means that the air brake system is fully applied. And I do the same thing. I check my watch, and we're going to go for about 1 minute here and see what happens. Any movement in the gauge is concerning. This bus is well maintained. Really lucky to have a nice group of mechanics up here at the outfit that I work for. So they take really good care of these buses, and even though this bus has almost 145,000 miles on it. It's a large Bluebird Transit bus. I'll double check, but I think it was built in. This bus was built in 2012, I think. 2012. I'll double check. It's up there on the plaque. But it's a good bus. It's got air conditioning, which is nice in the summertime. It's got a big Cummins diesel engine, fully turbo. All right, so the applied test is done. So place the brake. Now we're going to start doing the purging the tanks test. I always start in the front. So I got a purge switch right here. I start hitting that purge switch, which releases air from the front air brakes tank. On a school bus, you have a dual air brake system, so there's a redundant system. It's called the emergency braking system. So even if one of the air brakes tanks has a failure, there's a thing called a dual check valve, which means you can still stop the bus in an emergency. So we're drawing down the tank. Draw it down pretty far, almost to zero. Start the bus. It's dark, so you always look around for other drivers that might be walking around in the yard. Put it in gear, release the spring brake, and you let the bus roll forward, and then you stop the bus. Set the brake, put it back in neutral. So what that did is that simulated a failure in the front air brake system. So I'm going to take the bus and put it back up in the high idle. That buzzing sound you hear is the audible alarm for the air brake system. It means there's a low pressure. But I created it by using the purge valve. So now I'll build back up pressure to full pressure, and then we'll do the rear tank. And I always do front first and rear second. And then if the bus successfully passes that test, then it's pretty much ready to roll. It means the emergency braking system or emergency stopping system is working. And that's really what makes school buses so super safe, is that the braking system is redundant. There's a redundant system. There's not just one air brake system, there's two. And the most critical part of it is really there's a thing called the double check valve. And if for some reason the double check valve fails, well, then you're in big trouble. But that part is, really inspected, well maintained. The manufacturer of it is high tolerances. Really important manufacturer. It's kind of a critical part of the safety system on the bus. There's lots of safety systems on the bus, but the emergency braking system is probably the most important, because what do you need to always do to avoid, a collision is be able to stop the bus. And, this is a like 18-ton machine, and it's a big bus. It's 40 feet long, transit style bus. I think it's rated for over 70 passengers. Now, I don't remember taking 70 passengers on it. That would mean there's going to be 3 kids in every seat, which is pretty crowded. I mean, really crowded. All right, so my air pressure is built back up. I'm going to turn the motor off, engine off, turn the engine off, turn back up to auxiliary. Watch the air pressure gauges come up, and now I'm going to do the purge on the rear tank. So I have a switch over here, releases air from the rear air brake, and the warning light and audible alarm comes on at 60 psi. And I drain it down pretty far, listening for the hiss. Once the hiss starts dying down and the gauge gets, about 10 psi, a little bit lower. All right, restart the engine. So you hear that audible alarm. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's the audible alarm of the air brake system being low. Take your foot off the brake, let it roll forward, push down on the brake, bus stops. That simulates a failure of the system. So, like I said, it proves that the double air brake check valve is working, and that's, again, the most critical part of the braking system. So at this point, this bus is nearly ready to be checked out. Still got lots of paperwork to do. I'm going to start turning the bus heaters on now. I'll turn that on low so it doesn't make too much noise. It can be, the fans on the heat system can be loud. So I'm going to keep filling out paperwork here. Lots of paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. And since this is the last day of the week and the last day before a holiday, I got extra paperwork to do today. 12, 19, 6, because we have to have payroll sheets done. Now, at this outfit I'm working for right now, we still use the old-fashioned, we do payroll sheets on a separate sheet. There's not a time clock here. I've worked for lots of different outfits, and not always school bus driving, but I really prefer a time clock over having to fill out a timesheet by hand. Time clock just makes more sense to me, but we don't use one here. Some people don't like time clocks, and I just think they're the best way, really, in a busy work environment, to keep track of your time. You can clock in, clock out. It's the fairest way, really. Now, I know a lot of people complain about it because they forget to clock in and clock out. Well, if you want to get paid, you got to do the paperwork. Unless you do the paperwork, the boss doesn't know you've been there, right? So I have worked how many shifts this week? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll be work 7 shifts in 5 days, which is kind of normal for me because I'm actually a part-time employee. I'm not a full-time employee. So when you're filling out paperwork, you kind of got to be careful. You got to make sure that I keep a diary. So I always write down my hours in a diary, and then at the end of the week, fill out the paperwork. That way I always have my hours written down in my diary in case there's a question or paperwork gets lost. That's kind of why I prefer time clocks, because the new time clocks are all automated. You just they give you a card, you swipe it, and the computer keeps track of it, and then you get a receipt. And I really prefer that. Okay. All right. So, and the most important thing about filling out any paperwork is put your name on it. Got my name on it now. All right, so that's done. Payroll sheet's done. So I don't know who's following us right now. I haven't had a chance really to check it out. A few comments here. What's going on? Maybe there's some questions I can answer. Let's take a look here. Okay. Yeah, I do have some Christmas lights. I'll turn them on in a second. Yeah, where am I from? I'm from Northern California, far Northern California, farm town. It's not just a small town; it's a pretty good sized city. But that's where I'm from, and I've lived here. I lived pretty much a lot of different places. I had a long career before I became a school bus driver, and my wife and I relocated here, this town, and I'm, like I said, I'm semi-retired. So, okay, I'm gonna turn those Christmas lights on now. Somebody asked about them. I'll turn them on. You can see. I try to keep the bus fun for the kids at Christmas time. We'll listen to Christmas music. I got some Christmas lights here. Let's turn this on. Got that. I got this fun little necklace I can wear. Kids really like this stuff. You gotta be careful though. Some of the strobing can be flashing lights can be a little much. So I try to turn it down to one of the more mellow settings. That's pretty mellow. Or that like that. Get in the Christmas season. Everybody's excited about Christmas break. I like vacation. So buses all ready to check out. There's only one more. Here, maybe I can turn this a little bit more. Yeah, lots of schools. I see a comment. We have lots of school bus drivers have this Friday off. Earlier in the live, I talked about we only have the little kids riding today. All the elementary school kids are going to school today, and they only go to school for half a day. The junior high and the high school kids have the day off. So it's really, yesterday was the full route, and and actually I did my Christmas gifts to the kids yesterday. And I have a video that I'll put up around Christmas in a couple of days here, showing the last full route and giving the Christmas gifts to the kids. I give out little cookie packets to the kids for Christmas, just a way of showing how much I appreciate them. And so there is one last thing to do on the bus. One last check. I put it in gear. And then you release the brake, and you always look around and make sure there's no other bus drivers walking in the yard, because it is dark still. We say good morning, but it's not really morning. It's still night. Roll the bus forward, push on the service brake, roll the bus forward a little bit more, push on the service brake, And then you check the spring brake or the parking brake, roll the bus forward, pull that brake, bus stops. So at this point, bus is fully checked out. Oh, I know one thing I haven't done yet that's kind of fun. I haven't done the horn. That's the electric horn. This bus has an air horn, which is fun too. Big blasting horn, and the air horn comes in real handy sometimes. The drivers just don't pay attention. You got a bus load of kids, and drivers going through your red lights or crowding you when you're unloading kids and not thinking about the children around the bus. So the air horn is loud and warns people, watch out, there's children. So let me see if there's any other comments coming through on the live. See if I can answer any questions about being a school bus driver. Yeah, okay. Yeah, local, your local bus geek. Yeah, you have 4 RC buses. Yeah, nice. So, Mason, you got the day off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Local. I'll have to check out your channel. Thanks for checking out my channel, Local Bus Geek. This is School Bus Talk. Check out some of my videos and shorts. I'm glad to see you're here joining us on this YouTube Live. Now, I got to take a break here pretty soon because I got to leave start on the route before long. And I always have to go to, had a couple cups of coffee to get going this morning, and that means that I have to take a comfort break before I leave on the route. So I'm going to be wrapping up here things real soon. This live's been going on for about 28 minutes, so I'll just go for a little bit longer. I really want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in. I've seen got a few likes, some thumbs up this morning. Looks like there's about 8 people that are joining us. So that's just, kind of a morning routine, checking out the bus. And this is a kind of a special morning because we're going on Christmas break, and we will take a couple weeks off and then be back next year, 2025. And it'll be like, today's there's 99 days of school left today. So when we get back, the 100th day is going to be, the 100th day of school will be, about the 2nd or 3rd week. And what happens too in the first of the year, January, February, March, there's a lot of holidays. You got here where we are, we got Martin Luther King's birthday as a holiday. Then we have President's Day as a holiday. And then we're rolling into spring break. We got long weekends at Easter. And then after Easter, boy, there's a long stretch, a lot of learning happening until Memorial Day. We don't get off. In this outfit I work for, the last day of school is usually in early June, and then we start summer vacation. So I'll probably be sending out something after. We're going to be home my wife and I will be home for Christmas. Our kids aren't coming home this year. They came home at Thanksgiving, but our kids live all over the USA. They're not coming home. But the day after Christmas, we're going to take off and go on a little vacation. It's supposed to be kind of cold and rainy here where we're at. Yeah, hey, thank you, Mickey Thomas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's going to be kind of cold and rainy here, so we're going to take off and head down to the southwest and go to the desert. And the desert in the wintertime is really beautiful. It's warm, it'll be like 80 degrees and sunny. That's where it's lovely. So you get out of the cold weather and head down where it's nice and warm. It's cactus and sand and palm trees. We like that. All right. So thanks everybody for joining me on this episode of School Bus Talk live from School Bus. This is bus number 12. So wishing everybody out there, whether you're just a watcher, viewer of this channel, you're a school bus driver, a teacher, staff member at a school, a parent, or a kid, be safe out there, and remember, if the red lights on a school bus are flashing, don't be passing.